Good day! My name is Lukas Tamkun and I would like to introduce you to the world of acrylics. To begin with, I will tell you about a few selected projects we made that are interesting due to technical or aesthetic aspects. The first project is an underwater tunnel on a footbridge suspended in a pool. The tunnel itself is a matter of relative simplicity. The calculation of the thickness of the tunnel that took into account the height of the column of liquid is quite simple. After selecting the appropriate thickness of acrylic, the tunnel is made. In our case, the situation was far more problematic. Well, before the pool was filled with water, the footbridge and tunnel pulled downwards in accordance with the weight. However, during flooding, the tunnel begins to pull upward due to its buoyancy. Such was the case that we had to make calculations of the original state of the tunnel pulls downwards to a transitional and final state where the perch moves upwards and is displaced. We designed a system of rubber flanges on the tops of the tunnel which reduced the movement of the footbridge during flooding. We made calculations of the thickness of the acrylic for this tunnel, and from the calculations it came out that 8 cm thickness was sufficient. We were able to determine exactly how 8 cm thick acrylic would flex. However, acrylic manufacturers issued guidelines in which the acrylic was not 8 cm but even as much as 20 cm. We did the calculations again, and finally the client decided on 10 cm thickness, giving us 2 cm of reserve. After pouring the pool, we measured the deflection of the acrylic, and it was 20% less than expected. Currently, we take measurements every 6 months so as to keep track of the so-called creep deflection, but still the deflection is smaller than assumed. Making the tunnel with 10 cm and not 20, as the acrylic manufacturer wanted, meant hundreds of thousands of dollars in savings for the customer. In addition, we have made a set of underwater windows, which were quite problematic because they were mounted at an angle. We made a set of locks to make installations easier. The final element was the underwater windows located in the tunnel tab. From the wet side, it is made of acrylic. From the dry side, material used is quartz glass. This project is located in Mszcząt, near Warsaw, and is one of the biggest tourist attractions in the area. The second spectacular project is a hanging swimming pool and gym located on the top of a hotel in Poznań. The main design theme was to choose the thinnest possible elements made of reinforced concrete so that the acrylic would be as visible as possible. Of course, it was possible to do away with support altogether, but that would have meant very large thickness of acrylic. We managed to get a compromise between these two parameters. The body of the pool and gym was made entirely at our supplier. The biggest challenge was the horizontal transport of the two multi-ton components. At one point, we had clearances counted in millimeters. We had to be sure of safe weather and perfect synchronization of the teams for installation. We managed to install both lamps in 2 days. This hanging pool and gym are the only such undertakings in Poland and will be available to guests from next spring. Another project that was quite a challenge was an underwater roller and windows set at the Wrocław Zoo. An underwater ring was designed for the otter enclosure with an entrance from ground level. This element was designed in a lowered area. After unloading 2 elements of the ring, it turned out that no crane is able to lift these elements for us because the trees were on the way. We found ourselves in a difficult situation because we had to transport the 2 elements weighing 2 tons, 30 meters on the ground, drop them 3 meters lower and transport them another 10 meters, after which they had to be lifted, adjusted and glued together. Since no one was able to move the pieces, we constructed special carts and dedicated structures to lower them down. This work took us a week, after which both roller elements were in place. Bonding these elements was another challenge, as we had dense snow and sub-zero temperatures. For this purpose, we constructed special heating tent that allowed us to keep steady 15 degrees Celsius inside. In such conditions, we managed to glue both elements. The outer enclosure is one of the most unique acrylic projects done in Poland. The third project is a spectacular Hotel Binkowski in Kielce, Poland. Our task was to insert the steel basin of two very thick panels, 100 mm, with a length of 6 and 8 meters and a height of 110 centimeters. In addition, the entire two walls that are made of steel and acrylic give the impression of a zero-edge panel. The work of corner gluing was all the more difficult because it fell on a period of almost tropical heat. In addition, the steel basin worked as a large radiator, and in some places the temperature reached 45 degrees Celsius. We managed to glue the panels flawlessly. Also, after pouring water to grind acrylic locally, so that it forms a perfect wall of flowing water. The pool is located on the roof of the hotel, and the view from this height faces some of the most attractive pools in Poland. Another project worth mentioning is the pool for the Polish Navy in Gdynia. Here, the challenge was that the bottom of the pool was raised, as a result of which the underwater windows had to be fitted with an accuracy of a few millimeters, because otherwise they would be in collision with the moving bottom. Also, the fact that the windows were very high from the bottom of the pool caused us a lot of trouble. This very difficult project was carried out by schedule, and to this day it works flawlessly. In the second part, I will say a few words about technology. Acrylic glass or PMMA are many terms to describe one type of material. It is divided into drawn PMMA, extruder, and cast intruder. In our projects, only the cast acrylic is used. It is produced in blocks of 2 by 3 meters up to 9 by 3 meters. Thicknesses start from thin panels of just 20 millimeters up to 110 millimeters. Regardless of the width, the length or thickness, the material is always identical. There is always a transparency of the air. Even a small sample, like this, clearly shows how amazing transparency of acrylic is. Acrylic produced from Mitsubishi pellets is always identical, regardless of the manufacturer. Our production facilities include 2 manufacturers from China and 1 from Germany. Acrylic is very convenient for machining. It can be milled, cut, ground or threaded. Even a number of closely located holes do not weaken the material, as it is in the case with quartz glass. Acrylic can be forged face down and angled to any finish. However, acrylic is a long-lasting material, and our warranty includes a 240-month non-yellowing guarantee. Acrylic is very safe to install, as it is not as brittle as quartz glass. Quartz glass, in the form of many resinated surfaces, is not really an alternative in swimming pools, because with 4 and more layers, the glass panel gets discolored blue-green. It cannot be sanded to achieve zero edge effect. does not provide a guarantee of safety against cracking during use, and cannot be used safely in public pools. To sum up, our company has a rich portfolio, extensive experience taken on many projects, and we work throughout the EU and beyond. Giving the highest quality and precision, we offer competitive prices and tight deadlines.